Hey guys, welcome back to another video on this plane geometry technical drawing series with AutoCAD. My name is Stefan Taylor and we are going to be dealing with bisecting a straight line today. Alright, in the last video we set up our drawing space, our model area. So if you haven't done so, please go back to the other video, the first video in this series, and set that up and come right back. It's just a few minutes long. Once you've done that, we can continue with this drawing. Alright, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be drawing a line basically and learning how to bisect it. The word bisect simply means to split something into two equal parts. Bisect, split into two equal parts. A bicycle has two tires. Alright, so first things first, we are going to switch to our object layer. In the first lesson, we created our layers also, so we're going to use them. So the first thing we're going to do is to draw a straight line, horizontal line, left to right. We're going to go to our line tool right here, click on the line tool, and we're going to make a click, left click on the mouse, anywhere on the screen. Now we're going to come across from left to right, and once the line is straight, you would see a guide line, this dotted or dash green line appear that tells us that our line is straight. You would see 0 degrees. If you don't see that, then put on your ortho mode, and that will ensure that your line is either horizontal or vertical, nothing in between. Alright, so I already clicked, and then I come across and I'm going to type 100 on the keyboard and hit enter, and there we go, we have a 100 millimeter horizontal line. Next, we can just hit escape to end the line. Now, in order to bisect the line, we're going to be using arcs, our arc tool right up here. But before we do, let's switch back to our construction layer. So we want to go to the arc tool drop down menu right here, and then we're going to select center start end. The reason why we use this one is because it's the one that mimics a compass, if you know a compass from your geometry set. So we click on that one, and we're going to come to the beginning of the line. I'm just going to roll my wheel, my scroll wheel forward to zoom in, and I can just press the wheel to pan around. Right, so we can come to the front, the first point of our line, and make a click right there. I put on the author mode. I'm going to take it off. Actually, I'm going to put on the polar tracking, this one right next to it, so that I have the freedom to move, to draw anything other than horizontal or vertical lines. Right, so now we are using the arc tool. Click at the beginning of the line, and something you should know with AutoCAD, the way it's set up right now, it can only make the arc going counterclockwise, anti-clockwise. Clockwise is this way, anti-clockwise is the other way. So if we're going to make an arc counterclockwise, we have to start lower so that we can go upwards. Alright, so in order to bisect a line, we need to create some arcs above and below. These arcs must intersect exactly midway above the line. So in order to do that, the trick is to set your arc tool to a radius that is more than half of the length of this line. So we know that this line is 100 millimeters. So any distance, any radius that is more than half of 100 is going to be perfect. So I'm just going to use 70. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to use 70 millimeters, hit enter, and then when I carry my cursor upwards, you will see it creates an arc like that. Now I'm going to reactivate the arc tool. I don't have to come here again and click center start end. Once I did that before, it's going to be the option at the top. So I can just click my arc tool again, and I come to the other end, right? And I click here. Now remember, we can only go counterclockwise with AutoCAD. So in order to mark an arc that is going to intersect means to cross, um, I have to start this way so that when I go counterclockwise, it intersects with the other arc. So I start above it, and the key here is to use back the same radius. So I have to use 70 again because that's what I used to create the first arc. Hit enter, and now I can mark the arc like so. Now, this is not enough. This is only half of it. um, we now have to do the same thing at the bottom side using the same measurements. So I'm going to use the arc tool once again, click right here at the beginning of the line. I'm going to come this way because remember I can only go counterclockwise, so I have to start this right here so I can move that direction. So start here, type 70, enter, and then mark my arc like so. Then arc tool once more, come over to the other side of the line. I can only move counterclockwise, so I come above it, this arc, and then I can move this way. Remember, we have to use the same radius, so 70 once more, and then I mark my arc. Now you can use whatever radius you want, just be sure to keep using the same radius. And the other thing is, it has to be more than half of the length of the line. So you either need to know the length of the line so you can work out what more than half is, or you can just look at the line and determine what more than half is. Just reuse that same measurement. So we are basically finished. We just have to draw a line from the intersection of the top arcs all the way down to the intersection of the bottom arcs. And then once you did all of that correctly, you will see that this line, this vertical line from top to bottom, runs directly in the middle of this line here. Now we can check that by measuring the line. We can use the linear dimensioning tool, and we're actually going to create another layer just for this dimensioning because I like to keep everything on different layers. So we come to layer properties and click on that. This will pop up, and we create a new layer, and we call this one dimension, and we're going to change the color to yellow. And my dimension lines is not, they're not going to be as thick as our object lines. They must be thinner, so I'm going to use 0.20 and hit OK. So right now we're just going to switch to my dimension layer, use my linear dimensioning tool. Firstly, I'm going to click on one end, then click on the other end. So we're measuring from that point to this point, and then I'm going to bring it downwards, and then just left click on the mouse. So we know that the line is 100 millimeters, and then I'm going to just measure from this end to about halfway, just to make sure that everything was correct. Yes, we can see that everything, it was actually bisected. It was actually split into two equal parts. Alright, finally, remember for every drawing, well, if you know about technical drawing, every drawing must have a title. So I'm going to use the text layer, and I'm going to use the text tool. So click the drop down, and I'm going to select single line, and then just click beneath the drawing. Now it asks for the rotation angle. To specify the rotation angle, 0, it's set to 0 by default. 0 means 0 degrees. In AutoCAD, 0 degrees is horizontal this way, left to right. Right, if I type that 90 degrees, it's going to go upwards. And if I type it at 180, it's going to go backwards, and so on. So I want to leave it at 0, so I'll type 0, and then all our text in technical drawing should be written in uppercase. So we are going to give this drawing a title. We'll call it uh, Bisecting a Straight Line Using Arcs, and then hit enter twice to come off of that. Now to move this around, we can just simply click on it, and then you'll see this blue point show up. You can click on that and move it around. But we can utilize the move tool up here by clicking the move tool, and where it says to select the objects, we just select whatever it is we want to move, left clicking on it. Once we're done selecting everything that we want to move, it's just the words. We click enter, and then now it wants to specify the base point. The base point is simply a point where you want to pick the object up from. That's a nice way to think about it. Um, so I just click right there, and now I pick the object up from there, and I can move it around, and I can put it down wherever I want to. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. We saw how to bisect a straight line using the arcs above and below. These arcs intersect because we use the radius that is more than half of the length of the line. And in AutoCAD, remember, the arcs can only move anti-clockwise unless you set it up otherwise. And that's going to be it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.